Have you ever noticed someone who says sorry for almost everything? They apologize for speaking. They apologize for asking a question. Sometimes they even apologize when you are the one who made the mistake. Maybe that person is you. You walk into a room and accidentally brush past someone. Sorry. You send a message and immediately follow it with sorry for bothering you. You share your opinion and then soften it with sorry if that sounded stupid. At first, it might seem like simple politeness, being respectful, being considerate. But psychology tells us something deeper is happening, because people who apologize too much are usually not just being polite. They are trying to survive emotionally, and the strange thing is, most of them don't even realize they're doing it. Over-apologizing is rarely about the situation itself. It's about what's happening inside the mind. It's about how someone learned to protect themselves from conflict, rejection, or judgment. Many people who apologize too much grew up in environments where mistakes felt dangerous. Maybe they had strict parents. Maybe they were constantly criticized. Maybe every small error turned into a big reaction. So their brain learned something very important very early. If I apologize first, maybe I can stop the conflict. Over time, this becomes automatic. The apology becomes a shield, a reflex, a way to keep emotional peace, and the brain loves patterns that keep us safe, so even when the danger is no longer there, the habit remains. Psychologists often connect excessive apologizing with something called people-pleasing behavior. People pleasers are constantly scanning their environment, trying to make sure everyone else is comfortable. They avoid tension. They avoid disagreement, and most importantly, they avoid disappointing others because deep down, many of them carry a quiet belief. If people are upset with me, they might leave me, so the apology becomes a way to hold relationships together. But here's the interesting part. People who apologize too much are often the most empathetic individuals in the room. They are highly aware of other people's emotions. They can sense discomfort quickly. They notice small shifts in tone, body language, and mood. This emotional sensitivity is powerful, but without boundaries, it becomes exhausting. Imagine walking through life constantly monitoring everyone else's feelings while ignoring your own. That's what chronic apologizers often do. Another psychological factor behind over-apologizing is low self-worth. If someone grows up feeling like they are too much, not enough, or somehow always in the wrong, they may begin to assume guilt even when none exists, so they apologize preemptively before anyone even blames them. It's almost like their brain whispers, just say sorry first, just in case. And when that pattern repeats for years, it slowly reshapes how someone sees themselves. They stop trusting their own voice, they second-guess their opinions, they soften their statements with apologies so they don't seem too confident or too assertive. Ironically, this can sometimes cause the opposite of what they want. Instead of making interactions smoother, constant apologizing can make others feel uncomfortable. It can create confusion, because when someone apologizes for everything, people start wondering what they actually did wrong. In relationships, this dynamic can become even more complicated. If one person constantly apologizes, the other person may unintentionally begin to take more power in the relationship, not because they are manipulative, but because the balance slowly shifts. One person becomes the emotional caretaker. The other becomes the one being accommodated. Over time, the apologizer may feel drained, unheard, or invisible. But breaking the cycle isn't as simple as just stop saying sorry. Because the habit is rooted in emotional memory, the brain has learned that apologizing equals safety. So the first step is awareness. Notice when you apologize, is it because you truly made a mistake? Or is it because you feel like your presence might be inconvenient? That difference matters. Another powerful shift is replacing unnecessary apologies with gratitude. Instead of saying, sorry for being late, you might say, thank you for waiting. Instead of saying, sorry for asking so many questions, you might say, thanks for taking the time to explain. This subtle change rewires how the brain frames the interaction. You move from guilt to appreciation, and psychologically, that shift strengthens confidence. It tells your mind that your presence, your questions, and your thoughts are not burdens. They are part of being human. Of course, genuine apologies are still important. Real accountability builds trust, but healthy apologies come from responsibility, not fear. The difference is simple. A healthy apology says, I made a mistake. and I want to fix it. An anxious apology says, I exist, and I hope that's okay. And once you notice that difference, something powerful begins to happen. You start reclaiming your space in conversations. You start speaking without cushioning every sentence with guilt. You start realizing that you are allowed to take up space in the world without apologizing for it. And here's something many people don't realize. People who apologize too much are often the ones who have spent their lives trying to make the world easier for everyone else. They smooth conflicts. They absorb tension. They carry emotional responsibility that was never theirs to begin with. So if you see yourself in this pattern, it doesn't mean you're weak. It means you learned how to adapt. But adaptation isn't the same as identity. Just because you learn to apologize for everything doesn't mean you have to keep doing it forever. The brain is capable of change. Every time you pause before saying sorry, I end the karn. Every time you express yourself without shrinking your voice, you begin rewriting an old script, a script that may have been running silently for years, and slowly something surprising begins to happen. The relationships that truly matter don't disappear when you stop over apologizing. They become more honest, more balanced, more real. Because the people who genuinely value you never needed those constant apologies in the first place. They just needed you, and maybe that's the real psychology behind people who apologize too much. It's not about weakness, it's about a mind that spent years learning how to protect itself. But the moment that mind realizes it is safe to exist without saying sorry, that's when real confidence begins. And sometimes the most powerful sentence a person can learn is not, I'm sorry, it's simply this. I don't need to apologize for being here.